Is there any objection? Appears to be none. It can be tabled. Question number 10, Honi Harawira.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Economic Development. As the Prime Minister is, will he commit to spending the $41 million on reducing child poverty after signalling that he might not now give that money to Team New Zealand to compete in the next America's Cup?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, the Government has not yet appropriated money for a further America's Cup challenge, but I'm pleased to be able to report to the member in the meantime that the Government spends billions of dollars every year on supporting families, particularly low-income families. This year's budget included more than $900 million in initiatives to help vulnerable families through a significant investment in things like $189 million to assist people from welfare into work, $377 million to build 3,000 new State House bedrooms and 502 new two-bedroom homes, $100 million for 3 years over the Warm Up New Zealand program, $9.5 million for an expansion of the Kickstart Breakfast program, $21 million for rheumatic fever prevention, $15.7 million for the Children's Action Plan, and $172 million in new investment in earlier childhood education. Of course, getting people into work is the best way out of poverty. I look forward to the member's support for our comprehensive welfare reform program, as well as things that create jobs, as demonstrated through our business growth agenda.
Supplementary question, Honi Harawira.
Does the Minister agree with the Salvation Army's State of the Nation report released yesterday, which called child poverty a time bomb issue for the nation? And can he explain how bailing out wealthy investors and spending money on a yacht race for millionaires helps to reduce the crippling poverty faced by 270,000 children in Aotearoa?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, the Salvation Army report, as I understand, says that child poverty rates may be easing based on data from Brian Perry's report. So the report doesn't support the idea that child poverty is getting worse. But the member raises a very fair point. And the point I would make in response is that a very important part of what this government does is encourage economic growth and investment, so we have more jobs for people, because having a job actually gives people a quicker path out of poverty. And I'll acknowledge my colleague, Minister Sharples, who spends a huge amount of effort, for example, marketing New Zealand overseas, and actually the America's Cup Challenge. The involvement of the New Zealand government is exactly about doing the same thing.
Supplementary question, Honi Harawira.
Does the Minister think that gambling on the outcome of another millionaire's yacht race, after already losing $80 million on the first two, is a reasonable and responsible way for a government to be developing the country's economic base? Or is it because gambling and the promotion of casinos are the basis of his government's economic strategy?
Honourable Stephen Joyce. Mr Speaker, I reject completely the assertion made in that member's question, including that the government's plan is that we have to win the America's Cup. Actually, the government's involvement is the marketing of New Zealand through the America's Cup. But if the member's concerned about economic development, I invite him to join the government in a whole bunch of other things he didn't mention in that question. For example, in his home patch, oil and gas exploration, the commitment to increase Māori land productivity, the commitment to work with Ngāpuhi to get treaty settlements, and the equipment to build decent transport in Northland. And the day that member gets up and endorses some of those job-creating initiatives is the day that I will listen to him on economic development and the relief of poverty.
Question number 11, Dr. Rajen Prasad. Order. I'm on my feet. That sort of behaviour is completely unacceptable and will lead to disorder in this House. If it is to happen again, I will be asking members responsible for that sort of behaviour to be leaving. Point. Order. Order. This is a point of order.
Mr Speaker,
and it will be heard in silence.
Mr Speaker, I'm not contesting your ruling, but I haven't been here that long, but I don't think I've seen anything as disrespectful to a member than that behaviour, and I believe one of those members should be thrown out right now.
Yeah. Order. The member makes a reasonable point. The difficulty I would have is developing the wisdom of Solomon to decide which of them to show out. And on this occasion, order! Order. I have given a very strong warning to those members. I would certainly hope that that behaviour is never repeated. I now call Dr Rajan Prasad.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.